Here's my individual multimedia presentation, and here we go. All right, so first of all, democracy is the foundation of the United States of America. At the beginning of America, as stated by Tocqueville in the stimulus piece, democracy was highly based off the idea of individualism. To continue, as stated by Henriksen, an associate professor of educational leadership and innovation, creativity is imperative and advantageous amongst all workplaces. The concept of individualism is supported by individual creativity and it helps to support self-determination. However, it is impossible to function a democracy properly, as stated by Tocqueville, without the use of organizations and associations. To continue, as stated by M.G. Gelfand in the Cultural Evolutionary Trade-off of Ritualistic Synchrony, group work in our society has shown to increase conformity and decrease creativity amongst workers. So what is the problem? The problem is that previous rigid management structures are impeding on individual creativity, as shown by the quote below. The concept of conformity is relevant in the workplace and, as stated by the research of Ash, prevents individual creativity and innovation amongst the workplace. So what needs to be done? Organizations need to start creating an individual environment that uses group work only to come together on ideas and communication so that we can preserve individual creativity. This sounds great, but how do we actually ensure creativity? First, in a democracy, employees should be able to be treated equally when it comes to social status. Secondly, organizations should be used to harness individualism while still being able to bring people together. And lastly, individuals should be allowed to choose the ways in which they work so that innovation can be preserved, as shown to be effective in the quote below. However, with trying to ensure creativity, there come some limitations. Firstly, the use of group synchronization in organizations increases group thinking. However, it will impair group creativity in the long run, as found in Gelfand's study of ritualistic synchrony. Secondly, independent working can also lead towards unwanted distractions and eroding of the creative workplace amongst individuals, as stated by Soya, a principal lawyer for global labor and employment. And thirdly, it is difficult to control an environment if it was ever to get out of hand. But luckily, these problems can be addressed through the use of 3 different perspectives, including technology, coworker bonds, and family relations. The first perspective is coworker relations. In an organization, coworker relations are imperative for success. Teamwork, as stated by Gelfand again, and Berman, a professor of public management at VUW, it is necessary to ensure that communication and collaboration is successful, is as efficient as possible for group success. To continue, team diversity shows an extremely positive influence on individual creativity. Lastly, Stoas, a research at UN, states that age and position in organizations are also large factors in the levels of conformity amongst individuals. So what solutions come with coworker relations? First of all, group work helps to increase cooperation and coordination, but it also may increase obedience, group work, and impair group creativity. Secondly, individuals should be able to choose the way they work best to guarantee their creativity while still being inside a diverse environment. However, the first challenge that comes with coworker relations is managing possible inappropriate relationships. And also, diversifying the workplace environment can lead to unnecessary disagreements and can lead towards increased conformity and lessen creativity, even though it helps to bring communication and collaboration. The second perspective covers family relations. As found by the research of Danny Miller, family involvement plays a significant role in increasing conformity amongst all individuals. Also, family relations work as another factor for increasing cohesion, independence, and building communication amongst individuals. And lastly, age and family status allow them to act more independently inside the workplace. So what solutions come with family relations? The US, when compared to other countries such as China, have different ways workers view their work role and how they handle their families, as found by Jie-Fi Jin, a professor at Southwestern University. This work role is shown to be superior, and with the use of family support, individuals can be more complex workers and be more independent therefore preventing conformity amongst individuals. However, there are some challenges when it comes with family relations, such as that increased family interaction leads to increase in conformity, and also organizational leaders with spouses have shown to have higher levels of conformity, as stated by Kolb, and conformity is shown to be less favorable amongst leaders because it prevents them from having social control over an environment. The third and last perspective covers technology in the workplace. First of all, workplace in the 21st century is ever expanding and has become a foundation for the educational and occupational world. Secondly, the use of tech can help to initiate, stimulate, broaden, and even expand the ways that we view the skill of creativity. So what solutions come with technology? As stated by Brown, an assistant professor of management, monitoring tech is helpful if it's not overused, so we need to minimize monitoring to guarantee creativity. Also, the misuse of tech needs to be prevented, and if prevented, can be used to harness creativity much more properly. However, when using tech, there come some disadvantages. Tech overall can bring distractions, which can lead towards excessive employer monitoring, lead to legal allowance for employers to invade their employers' computers, therefore breaking policy of privacy. And this misuse can ruin creativity if it's not used correctly. So how do we guarantee creativity with all three factors? Firstly, it is vital to guarantee a versatile environment that everyone can thrive in and still be able to communicate with others. Secondly, with the new age of tech, it's important in a democratic environment to have an individual role to guarantee creativity and innovation. This would ensure for a diverse creativity. And lastly, the use of family support would help employees to handle higher workloads much more efficiently, therefore helping the stress of an individual role. So overall, harnessing individual thought to create new ideas would help push organizations towards more innovation and creativity in an ever-changing world. And my sources.
Matthew, how did you handle the differing perspectives in order to reach a conclusion?
So there's many different perspectives to this. So when it comes to this, there's different perspectives such as how I had coworker bonds, family bonds, and technology, but there are a lot of different perspectives that go into when it comes to individual creativity inside the workplace. So it was very difficult to try to pick really good ones that would work for each aspect, but I tried to pick the best key components of a workplace and what the majority of people struggle with when it comes to trying to decrease their conformity and increase their creativity while in the workplace.
Thank you. All right, second question. What additional questions emerged from your research, and why are these questions important?
Okay, so an initial question that kind of popped up when I was creating this is, how is creativity from the start affected in the schools? Because all organizational workers come from a school environment, and it's very difficult to create great workers whenever the schools are having such difficulty in training those workers. So I thought that a really interesting question that came up is, how can we create better environments for schooling, not just occupational work, to guarantee that they're the most creative for innovation as possible?